Hi, this is Jack Tester, and welcome to another episode of Leadership Lounge. I am in Marco Island, Florida, looking at the ocean. We just completed our amazing super meeting, and our final speaker was Jon Taffer. How you doing, John?
Oh, great, Jack. What an amazing group you have out there.
Thank you.
The energy, and through Bar Rescue, I work with
Right.
trade people like yourself.
Right.
And man, what a competitively aggressive, business aggressive group. They're really the best practices, I'm guessing, in each of their markets.
They're the prime. Well, yes, I think our members are really the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I can tell.
In the home services business, right?
Yeah.
And we work hard at that.
I
right?
can tell.
So thank you.
It was a room filled with best practices, I can say.
It was. Our members are doing great this year, and we had a great meeting, and it was really a nice exclamation point on it, literally, with you talking, right? So you brought a lot of energy, John. So, one of the things I want to talk about, first, I think a lot of people know what you do, but maybe not everyone does. So give me just a little bit of what you're doing right now and how you got to where you are.
Sure.
Right?
I've owned I was a hospitality guy, and I
Okay.
became a hotel general manager and a resort general manager. In 1986, I started my own company as a consulting company because tax codes had changed, and hotels couldn't write off the restaurants and the amenities anymore. They had to become profit centers. So over the past 35 years, I've done about 1,000 hotels and hospitality properties around the world.
Yeah.
Right now, we work with companies like Home Depot, Fridays. We even just did a project for the New York Yankees. So outside of TV, we have a very active consulting practice, and we've owned and operated our own hospitality properties. And TV, Jack, just sort of happened. I never expected it. I was going through my
How did it
day-to-day.
happen? I'm just curious.
I was giving a keynote speech at a convention, at a nightclub and bar convention.
All right.
And somebody came up to me and said, "You should be on TV." So I sat down and I wrote something up. I thought it was a pretty good idea. So I wrote something up. It was originally called On the Rocks. About a page and a half.
The idea was similar to Bar Rescue?
It was, but it was just called On the Rocks.
That's a cool name, by the way.
It was.
Yeah.
So the premise of On the Rocks when we started was a cross between Kitchen Nightmares and Mission Impossible, because I would use different experts,
Right.
different episodes with the files like Mission Impossible. So I went to a friend of mine who worked at Paramount. He said to me, "John, you will never be on television. You're too old. You're not good looking enough. It'll never happen." So it became a vendetta. and there's a lesson in all of this. So when I walked out of that meeting, I said to myself, I am going to prove him wrong, and I'm going to make this
How
happen.
many years ago was this?
This was 9 years ago.
There's a lot of people older than you're not an old guy.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I went and I shot my own little 3-minute sizzle reel and
Okay.
put together my own thing. I sent it to 4 production companies, and I got 4 offers.
You're kidding. It
And
must have been a hot sizzle reel.
It shocked me, to be honest with you. I thought I'd do a pilot and go home. I never expected any of this, Jeff.
Yeah.
And what I found on TV, no different than business, we have to be real. We have to be authentic.
Right. So what I saw is you today. What I see on TV is you today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very authentic.
That's
And-
cool.
And you saw that today. There's really not much of a difference between the two.
I did see that. That was pretty cool. So that started it all.
It started it all. So Bar Rescue premiered 8 years ago. Now we've had 91 million viewers. We're on 3,400 channels in 4 languages around the world. And again, I thought I'd do a pilot and go home, Jack. So it's all been a big surprise and really flattering to me. It's also taught me something.
What's that?
In our businesses, sometimes we don't realize how dependent upon our customers we really are, even though, of course, we should be because they write the checks.
Right.
Bar Rescue has made me so dependent upon an audience every day. And
Okay.
how many people are watching every day, and relationships that I build with them every day, that I am so audience customer centric today, even more so than I used to be.
Okay.
Because everything that happens for me in the television world happens from them.
So is it because it's so hyper tracked with viewers and ratings? Is that what it is?
It is, and it's week-to-week pressure.
And your money comes and goes based on those ratings, not to mention just whether you're going to be on TV or not.
Well, your money doesn't. Well, yes, because you get bonuses and such
Right,
based on
right.
ratings. It isn't as much as your salary changing as much as whether they renew you or not.
Right.
No numbers, you got canceled.
Right.
End of deal. So how do you? And a good friend of mine is Phil McGraw, and he always says, getting on TV is one thing, staying on TV is another.
Right. Well, I got to think that of all the professions, so many people want to get on TV.
Yeah.
There's Los Angeles is full of people wanting to be on TV,
Yeah.
right? And I guess in some professions maybe there's not the same line because you have to keep it up every day. You have to win it every day.
It's tough, and I can't do the same thing again and again after 200 episodes, Jack.
Right.
How do I come up with new ideas
Right.
each time? I'm blessed because the show is so real that I can follow the real story.
Right.
So I don't have to fake it. If you fake it, how many fake stories can you come up with? You run out. But when you follow real life, There's a new story every week.
Well, what you told us in this session today was that you show up at a bar that's been identified needing your help, and you don't get a big dossier or 3 years of trailer income statements if they even have them. You don't go and experience the store or the bar, right? You just walk in, right?
And I have minutes to assess the business.
Yeah.
But you could do that.
Right.
In your business, you could walk into an operation,
Yeah.
Plumber electrical operation, and you'd see organization.
Right.
You'd see the kind of employees they have, the quality of their equipment, right? The look of their proposal. You'd know it too. You'd be able to.
I would, but I guess that creates a certain spontaneity, though.
It does.
Right. That I think would.
Because you're in the moment completely.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. You're not sitting there storylining this thing. It's like you don't know what the owner's going to say. You don't know how they're going to react. You really don't know what you're going to. When you lift the find something behind the door, like, oh my God, I had no idea. Right.
That's so when I'm shocked, it's real.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It is
and you
real.
can't fake people out.
That's
they know
right.
it.
That's right. You see these reality shows where they kind of fake the, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're having an affair, and it's so contrived.
Unfortunately, it's most of them.
Yeah.
So everybody says mine is fake because all the others are, but it's not.
But yours is real. That's awesome. Well, you know what? It's and I got to tell you, when we promoted this event to our members, there's a lot of people are excited to see you. There's a lot of fans out there. And a lot of, what I see is a lot of small business owners in particular, because it's relatable.
It is.
It
is. It's self-accountability.
It is.
Focusing on the customer right. experience.
And
a lot of the things we talked about today.
And really, you're doing service businesses, which is what we do. Right?
We're in a relationship business.
That's right.
You want that next call, don't you?
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. One of the things that you started your presentation out today about saying there's a common denominator in these 200 plus places you've been to that have been on the rocks, if you will, right? Okay. So why don't you walk us through what that is?
So when I show up, I get a very quick briefing, as I told you, really 60 seconds.
Like you're sitting outside it in a car.
I'm sitting in a tent.
Okay.
In a chair getting makeup.
Okay.
Right? And they're
That's
straightening my hair out. They try to make me look a little younger if they can, Jack. It doesn't work so well, but they try.
You need more than 60 minutes, John. Right?
So I sit in a chair 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
One of my producers will come in and say, okay, John, here's a scoop. Jack owns a bar with his wife. They're ready to kill each other. They've lost their house. They're about to lose their car. They're losing $20,000 a month. They have enough money to make it 3 more weeks. That's all I know.
That's it.
I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned is, and I think you'll agree with this as a CEO, if I listen to the other people who make evaluations for me, they're not necessarily right. Producers are younger than I. They're less experienced than I. I can't trust their assessment. I have to make my own.
Yeah.
So I go in knowing as little as possible so I can fish and find as much as possible.
Right. Sometimes if you even get too much from the owner, they're kind of pointing you in one direction too. Oh, it's her fault.
They try to manipulate
It's his fault, right?
And the one who says it's his fault is typically the one whose fault it is.
Right.
They're just deflecting, if you will.
Right. So what is the common denominator? What's the thing that all these places that are suffering have in common?
It's so simple, but it took me my entire lifetime to figure it out, and only because of Bar Rescue did I. When I ask somebody why they're failing, they always have a reason, and it's never them.
Okay.
It's the marketplace, it's the governor, it's the mayor, it's the euro, it's the economy, it's Congress, it's this, it's that. Nobody ever looks at
in
me
our
and
business,
says,
it's the weather, it's the can't find good help.
Competitive, right? Guys underbidding me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's always somebody else's fault. So when I looked at this, I realized, wait a minute, they're creating an excuse. And then I thought, what is an excuse? An excuse is a reconciliation of a mistake because, Jack, you wouldn't use an excuse unless you did something you shouldn't have, didn't do something you should have, or otherwise screwed up. So
say that slow again. So
if you're using an excuse, either you did something you shouldn't have, didn't do something you should have, or screwed up. Or you wouldn't need the excuse.
Right. Very good. Yeah.
So what an excuse does is it allows us to reconcile our own mistakes in our own brain so we can live with ourselves. But we shouldn't live with ourselves when we fail. We shouldn't make ourselves feel good about failure.
Right.
And that's what an excuse does. Okay, I got a reason why I failed. It's not me.
I see this. Yeah.
And it's so powerful. It
Yeah.
affects everything.
Yeah.
So I have an excuse. Now I don't do a business plan. I don't invest in a marketing program. I don't hire that additional salesperson. I don't invest in that additional equipment. I don't seize opportunity because I've got every excuse not to. But when you think about it, excuses are in so many cases not real. One of the biggest is fear. Business fear. I don't want to make the investment. I don't want to do this. But yet thousands of people have already done that.
Yeah.
What the hell are we scared about?
Right.
So, fear is a big one. Scarcity is another one. When you started this organization 30 some odd years ago, you didn't have $1 million, did you?
We had $46,000 when we started.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Scarcity. It didn't hold you back, did it?
No.
Fear didn't hold you back either, did
We were
it?
terrified, but no.
But
Yeah.
you did. But you still moved
Yeah,
forward.
that's right.
You could have used those 2 excuses to not move forward, and that's the perfect example of what an excuse does. So now what happens is I get paralyzed by my excuse. I don't move forward. So in Bar Rescue, I've learned that I must make them accountable, and that's the ugly part of the show. I am going to force you to tell me that you're failing because of you, and here's the ultimate reason why. In the morning, Jack, when you wake up and look in the mirror, if you blame your shortcomings on someone or something else, you have no reason to change.
Right.
But if you look in your own eyes in the mirror that morning and say, I'm failing because of me, you won't like it.
No.
And then you will change. So, getting rid of that excuse creates the self-accountability, which creates action.
Question for you. This is interesting because we've seen that here, and I've witnessed it myself, and I've done it myself. I've
sure.
excused, I've rationalized, I've done all these things to, as you say, make yourself feel better. You come into these really broken businesses where excuse making is usually rampant, right? Fear is abundant, right? What's the rate of improvement?
Great question.
How does it go?
So there is an independent website called Bar Rescue Updates, which I have nothing to do with.
Okay.
And it was originally created, I believe, to assassinate me in the beginning, right? To say that we were fake, and it was originally created as one of those websites. Since it's become very legitimate, they have before and after Yelp scores. They tell you the story of before, the story for after, and they update. They have us tracking at about 68% success ratio, which is the best on any business transformation show on TV.
That seems amazing to me.
I'm very proud of that. When you consider that they literally say every time, Jack, I only have enough money to make it 3 more weeks, 4 more weeks.
Right. You're not taking a decent business and making it good. You're taking a dysfunctional, broken business and making it functional.
Yeah, these businesses have no credit. There's no deliveries.
Right.
Everything is COD. They're
So how do you do that? I mean that's if you had to say, okay, so the thing is excuses. The primary culprit of business failure is the owner or the senior leader who's ever kind of running the show, right? I get that. So and you've got a force of will that most people don't have.
And that's how I do it.
Is that it?
I think that is it. I'm relentless. I have great tenacity. I'm going to be in your face.
How long are you there?
Only 4 days.
So it's not like you're living with him for a month.
No, and the first day I'm only with him for about 2 hours when I do recon. The second day I'm with him for about 3 or 4 hours. The third day I'm not with him at all because we're remodeling. And then I do the reveal.
Yeah.
So I've got about 10 hours with him. And you said something very astute. I say it a little differently, but it's powerful. Every failing business has a failing owner.
Right.
If you don't fix the owner, you don't fix the business.
Right. But so what you do is you go in and you give them a blueprint for success.
So what I'll do is I'll remodel the business. I'll set them up with inventory.
So you do that for them, right?
Yes. So I'll go in, I'll put together a concept, a business plan, literally in hours.
Right.
I'll then remodel the business. I'll train their staff. I'll put in
4 days.
In 4 days.
Yeah.
I'll put in signature food items, signature beverage items. So I got to create the recipes, the menus, the graphics, all that aspect. We'll train them, and then we'll leave them with the inventories because they don't have the money.
Okay, so you do give them a kind of a loan of sorts.
And then we give them the inventory. It's not a loan because they don't pay us back.
I get it.
So for free, they get a complete remodel, all the recipes, all the standards.
That's a gift.
It is a gift.
An utter gift.
It frustrates me when they don't appreciate that gift, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I bet.
And some don't.
Really?
Yeah. Some have an attitude that, I wish that wall wasn't red.
Really? You got a free wall, buddy.
Yeah.
Right?
And I had a friend who used to produce extreme home makeovers.
Uh-huh.
And he used to tell me stories that would give people a house, give them a $200,000 house, and they'd complain that the paint color of the child's room wasn't proper. And so they would not appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess about 20% of bar rescue owners are that way. I leave and I feel as if I did something for someone who not only doesn't appreciate it, but will probably not respect it.
Yeah, probably even resent it on some level.
In some cases, yeah.
I wonder did you think that's a carryover to the tough love you give them? You think that, what I'm saying? If I I'm going to make an excuse. It is not me. And it's so much not me. It's not even, his ideas are even bad. Because he was wrong about me, so therefore he's wrong about the paint color.
I'm pretty tough, and like you, I've been doing this a long time. I know my business,
Yeah.
and so do you. I get that hug at the end of the episode. That hug is real. And I won't say which show it is, but there's a competitive show, and with a chef. And they wear a chef coat every day. So you don't know the difference of the first day, the second day, the third day. He's wearing the same shirt.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they shoot the hello and a hug first scene. Because by the third day, this guy's not getting a hug.
Okay.
Because the show is BS.
Okay.
I truly get a hug at the end of the show. Jack, it means more to me than a check.
I bet.
And I always say at the end of every episode, I get a check and a hug. And I've gotten enough checks, but you never get enough hugs.
Well, you know, the people you're working with, and I work with these at Nexstar, is they are failing. They are on the rocks. But it's true that on some level, it's their identity, right? Yeah. And it's failing. And
they make it too personal.
I think down below, they got to feel relief and a sense of worth, and when it works. Yeah. And value, when they accept that 16%.
Oh, they do. They do. And they call me and they keep in touch with me and they send me notes on their sales, and some of them are up millions of dollars since they left and increased revenue. And, and that hug is real. You know what? One of my biggest frustrations in Bar Rescue is at the end of the show when we hug, our microphones are on our chests, so nobody hears what's said when I get the hug.
Okay.
It's the best part of the show.
Can you share what some things
Sure.
they've said?
They'll whisper in my ear, John, you saved my life.
Yeah.
John, thank you. You fixed my marriage. John, I mean, the things that they whisper in my ear, Jack, are so powerful. Sometimes I tear up about it. And I realize, and what a blessing. You get to, with Nexstar, you get to change people's lives.
Right.
You know, elevate their game, their income, give them the money to send their kids to college. I mean, you are in the elevation business. In Bar Rescue, I get to do the same. Most TV is destructive reality TV.
It really is, too.
It's not constructive. Mine is. And you know, I feel really good about that. After every week, I feel like I've done something good.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's
really
very inspiring.
That's awesome. Because you're right. If you think most of it, it's, you know, it's destructive reality. It's people fighting. It's trying to get people at their worst, and you almost root against them. And
there's no resolution at the end. And I mean, I'm really creating a resolution. I'm trying. You know, they understand that I care about them, Jack. I'm tough.
Right.
And they get that. But there's a way to explain it. I explained to them, listen, I'm going to do 60 days work in 4 days. This is going to be aggressive. I don't have time for you to get on the bus. You better get on the bus now. Anybody who gets in my way, I'm going to run over because I have no time.
Right.
So in my head, there's this clock ticking constantly that puts me under this pressure. And that's where the tension from Bar Rescue comes, is the compressed time period. I mean, if you had to do 30 days work in 4 days, you'd be a raving maniac yourself.
I don't do these meetings every day like you do, because that's awesome, man. That's a, you know what, I don't know that I had this perspective coming into this room. You know, even after listening to you there, you know, you can get a little cynical over TV, you know, and the people that gravitate toward the big screen.
Yeah.
I can feel that way. But I can see that. I know it's a good living for you, and I know a lot of people are enjoying it, and I know the network executives love you, and there's a lot of people, you know, sipping champagne and caviar because of you, right? Yeah. I get all that. But at the core of it, the people you've helped directly in the show is awesome. Ask you this. Has somebody watched the show as a business owner and said, I saw myself exactly where that bar owner, that last show was, where the husband and wife were at each other's throat, et cetera, and I just did exactly what you did myself, and I got something?
About 25 emails a week.
That's so awesome. That's the cool part right there.
It is. So I'll get emails from doctors that says, you know, they've changed their medical practice and their approach to medicine and created more experiences, and they're focused more on, you know, their patient experience rather just an examination. I get emails from professors that use the show in marketing classes at universities. And business executives send me notes how, you know, it impacts their insurance business or it impacted their automotive business. And it's the greatest. That's why I do it. I'm not 30 years old anymore. I've made my money.
Yeah.
So
you kind of winked at me right there. So I know you got some bucks. That's good. I get it. I know you have. Yeah.
So I'm doing what I want to do at this stage of my life, and I really want to do this now. And after 200 episodes, I'm amazed to say that, Because you think, John, how many times can you do this? When I show up and I look in their eyes, it's the first one.
That's so cool.
'Cause
Right, it
the
is.
cameras disappear.
Right.
I look in their eyes. I mean, they're going to lose their house.
Yeah.
I'm their last chance, and they know it. And I accept that responsibility. And I look at Bar Rescue as a responsibility, not to the camera, to the business.
Yeah.
So to me, I always say the camera's along for the ride.
That's awesome. Let me do this. You've been really gracious with your time here, and I've enjoyed the heck out of this. So thank you so much. Thank you. There's a business owner out there listening to this, and maybe they haven't watched your show, maybe they won't see another show, but what's some clear advice you'd give them? These are, the people listening to this are leaders of small businesses. They're probably not bar and restaurant owners, but they're service companies, home service people that are doing good work. So what would you say to somebody?
We can't do transactions in today's marketplace. We have to do reactions, not transactions.
All right, you mentioned that today.
We have to connect. We have to look in people's eyes. Social media can be a great vehicle for connecting online because it's interactive. Today, business is all about connection. Let me equate it to MySpace for a moment. About 60% of the craft beers in America are terrible. But they do big numbers because of the packaging and the label. There's an element that people get from it.
Right.
There's a relevancy.
It's local, it's craft.
And it makes me cool, and
there's
it's
the guy
relevant.
with the beard that does it in an earring, Yeah.
Today we sell relevancy more than anything else, and it's a different world, and here's why. If you woke up this morning and your hair was sticking straight up and you looked the worst you've ever looked in your life and you put on the worst outfit you've ever worn and put that picture on social media, your friends would say, "You look great today, Jack. Great outfit." They would all lie to you. There is a fake, a gratification that we get through social media today, and it's instant. Post it, instant gratification. Small business owners have to understand that when you come out of today's social media world, you're used to quick gratification. Small business gratification is not always quick. It takes a year or two to get where you need to go. It takes time to build those client relationships and customer relationships. Small business and immediate gratification don't travel hand in hand. So to all small business owners...
Say that one more time. Small business...
Small business... I forgot what I said. Small business...
instant gratification.
Oh, yeah. Small business and instant gratification don't go hand in hand because small business is a longer-term gratification.
Right. That's right.
So I tell small business owners all the time, you're in it for the long haul. You're not in it for the short hit. This is about building a brand, building a client base, building a reputation, building. We got to build before we get.
Right.
So today's environment of immediate gratification is contrary to the whole premise of business. Look at how many years it took you to get Nexstar where you needed to be.
26 years to become an overnight sensation.
Yeah. Now, today's world, people expect it to happen in a year.
Right.
That's the one lesson that we have to learn. And the other point that I've learned about businesses, and the Vince Lombardi quote, "I never lost a football game, I just ran out of time."
No.
Small business is that way. We open a small business. It takes us a few months to get our costs in line, to understand our revenues, to really understand the business. And then we run out of money.
Yep.
If we had enough money for a couple more months, I could have fixed it. So when we open small businesses today, have what I call insurance capital.
Okay, this is good advice.
A couple of extra months of operating capital, because many times a successful business, a home run, takes a few months of massaging to get it there.
Right.
You could lose money the first 4 months. In the fifth month, you can make a fortune. You got to be able to make it through the massage period, as I call it, when you're getting all your cost structures and all your products aligned.
Right.
So that extra money is critical. And I find, Jack, that more small businesses run out of time and money than fail. Had they had a little more time and a little more money, they wouldn't have failed. Many.
That's interesting.
And I bet you agree with that.
Well, I do. I do. I think I just haven't thought of it that way. Yeah.
I mean, just another 60 days worth of operating capital, they would have made it.
Just right to the edge. Yeah. That's great advice, for sure. Well, I have enjoyed the heck out of this, John.
Me too. You have a great organization. What a bunch of great people out there. It was an honor to speak to them. I hope I made a difference.
You did. You're a kindred spirit to who we are, and I thank you for your time.
My pleasure, Jack.
And I thank you all for listening to this very special episode of Leadership Lounge. This is Jack Tester with Jon Taffer. We will catch you next time. Thanks so much.